Alright then guys, what is going on? Cloudplays here and welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're inside Diablo 4 where there is so much information to go through with regards to 1.1.1, things that have been missing, things that have been added, and dragging your eternal characters into seasonal realms. We've got so much to dive into, as well as a hotfix that went live last night. So without any further ado, we're going to jump on in. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. Make sure you check out our sponsor. The link is down in the description for Advanced GG, the #1 clinically proven energy supplement on the market. My favorite flavor is cherry vanilla, although there's an array of flavors for you guys to pick from. And if you use code CLOUD at checkout, you'll get yourself a cheeky little discount. Big shout out to this guy who's just made his purchase, and hopefully you enjoy your tubs. With that being said, let's dive on into today's video. So starting off, we have got the Diablo 4 patch notes that have just gone live last night. The patch notes, as per usual, are absolutely ginormous, but we do luckily know a fair amount of them. There are class balance updates that we do know about already, although just a quick overhaul. They have this right here which rounds up a lot of stuff. Hello Wanderer, welcome to patch 1.1.1. We've made quite a few balance adjustments to classes. Our goals with this patch are as follows. We want to improve the effectiveness of sorcerers and barbarians while addressing the following for each class. For the sorcerer, improve the late game survivability, mostly through Paragon board point improvements, and adjust some class mechanics to move away from the Kiss Curse effects. This is where the player gains power but loses power somewhere else. Very good way of looking at things. As well, we've got for the barbarian to speed up the flow of combat in early game by increasing fury generation on basic skills, and add late game excitement by increasing the power of unique items. It's nice to know that they're going a little bit more in depth with some of the characters, and I know that we've got other characters that are going to be getting some changes as well in future patches, to be able to help boost that playability and especially the replayability in builds. They've also wanted to strengthen builds that aren't reaching a high power level and diversify the use cases for legendary items and other effects that are overly situational. So this is a really good look and a really good movement for it. As far as the actual buffs go, we already seen quite a lot of that last week, I believe, in the campfire chat, but they have made a lot of balance alterations towards all characters. Now, majority of this we already do know about, but we're going to take a look at some of the new stuff that wasn't announced throughout the campfire chat. This which right here is gameplay updates for monster density. They are increasing monster density in Nightmare Dungeons and in Helltide. So bosses above level 60 will have more health, for example. Bosses at level 60 and below remain unchanged, although bosses at level 80 have a 50% increased health, bosses at level 100 have 100% increased health, bosses at level 120 have 120% increased health, and bosses at level 150 and above have 150% increased health. Now they do state here in a developer note that we are making adjustments to the health values of high level boss monsters, but they don't really go into detail on this one. Normally Blizzard are really good with giving us a developer note as to why they've actually changed things, although there isn't really much of a notice with why on this one. It is a little bit confusing, but they state here that level 35 and higher boss monsters will now have a 100% chance to drop a legendary item. Treasure goblins now have an increased legendary item drop chance from level 6 to 14 and guarantee a legendary item drop starting at level 15. And also Legion events are now more rewarding and guarantee a legendary item drop starting at level 35. So some really good information inside of that one. Personally, I think that that's a really good motive. The fact that they're making legendaries more accessible, and they're also talking about being able to boost the usability of them. Now, when we go into their general category though, there is a nice developer note on this one actually as well, but they state, we have made multiple improvements on how damage and other effects interact with active barriers. Bonus damage or bonus effects that are applied on hit or when dealing damage will now apply the same effect through barriers. For example, the exploit Paragon glyph will now apply vulnerable to enemies that have an active barrier. Cheat death effects will now work properly when the player has an active barrier, and these also work in PvP play. Now that is pretty damn cool, and I think that they're making the right steps forward for this. That is for damn sure, because barriers can always be a bit of a nightmare, but now we've got everything in effect. We've got some other changes right here, like Varshan will now break through any bone wall segments he dashes through, and the cost for refunding skills and Paragon points have been reduced. The reduction starts small at lower levels and hits a maximum of 40% at level 100. For example, level 50, you'll have a 12% reduction, level 60, a 18% reduction, level 70, 24% reduction, and level 80, 30% reduction. They've increased the stack limit for elixirs from 20 to 99, and an additional stash tab will now be purchased at the stash with gold. We have restored the cast time for leave dungeon back to 3 seconds as well. Now, I think that there is a bit of an annoyance here with the cost for refunding. They've made it a gradual movement up, so it's a 12% reduction at level 50. I'm not too sure what much of a difference that's going to make, to be completely honest. But I suppose by the time you've got to level 90, you'll have a very nice reduction indeed. So, I mean, I guess enjoy that. But the developer note on this states, Leave Dungeon ability was being used as another method of easy escape from danger in dungeons, particularly for hardcore players. However, we recognise that this is outweighed by the downside of the game feeling less responsive. We've heard your feedback and are reversing this change. We like that they do listen to feedback because it is definitely bloody needed. Now, there was some things that weren't put in and a lot of people noticed, but this part right here was not in the original patch notes and have now been input into the source code, stating the following Nightmare Dungeon affixes have been removed: resource burn, backstabbers, and empowered elites, cold enhanced. So many of you guys are going to be happy to hear about that one. That one for me is an absolutely huge thing, because there's nothing more annoying than backstabbers inside of the Nightmare Dungeons. It's just ridiculously strong. But when we move on to things like Malignant Hearts, they're caged hearts of spell breaking. They've changed to, upon taking elemental damage, gain 10 to 20% damage reduction for 5 seconds. Very nice, very nice. I thought that we'd see a lot more changes with the Malignant Hearts, but evidently not as much as we would have assumed. Now, they have got a lot, and I mean a lot, of things that have changed inside of this. A lot of things you will know, and if you want to re-go over any of it, the link will be down in the description. But the one main thing a lot of you guys will be happy to see is that they fixed an issue where the Barber Malignant Power would absorb damage from all other players and not just the player with it equipped. Was irritating so many people, and this was something that we were screaming to get fixed, and now it finally has been, coming August 8th once this actually rolls into place with 1.1.1. Now, there has been some more pushes on this over on Twitter. As Adam Fletcher states, we may still have a couple of server-side items that do get updated to these notes before the 8th for the 8th. We will call those out separately once and if they are added. We will still have some hotfixes that will roll out in between as well. And then there was a couple of hotfixes that came out that afternoon for 1.1.0, hotfix 4 and 5, stating right here: the seasonal bug fixes, as this is now being deployed, where they fixed an issue where battle pass tiers could sometimes not be claimed, irritating quite a few people, as we saw in yesterday's video. And they've also fixed an issue where an explosion from the Barber Malignant Heart could sometimes not kill a monster when it should have. Very small hotfix, and obviously they always throw in there the further stability improvements. We're yet to see them though, Blizzard. What are they? I say this every single time because it's so bloody annoying. Be a little bit more precise with your stuff. That's just me. Anyway, when we look into this though, there were a few things that were promised and that have not been shown up. So Andrew Norton right here pointed out nothing in the patch notes about the horse's charges. Are those not coming in 1.1.1? And Adam Fletcher states that these will be later on. That is very interesting because I'm pretty sure that they did talk about this, and this was something that was actually spoken about by Joe Shelley, I believe, on Twitter. He did put it up after the campfire chat, but we've still got things that are going to be rolling into 1.1.1, and they'll be updating it in due course. Now, one thing I want to give you guys a quick warning about is Eternal characters going into Diablo 4 Season 1 with items and gold and vice versa. Now, there is a very frustrating very frustrating thing that is going on in the Diablo community right now. This of which will get you banned, and I will refuse to show you guys how to use the exploit or abuse, because this is definitely going to get you banned on that account, maybe permanently, maybe account wide. It might just be the character. I don't actually know, but this is going to be something that Blizzard will hammer down on real damn quickly. So if you happen to find out the way to take your Eternal character over to the seasonal realm, please don't do it. It's a little bit ridiculous. You're having to mess around with Ethernet cables and all sorts of stuff, but it is inevitably going to get you banned. So please, 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 if anybody tells you to do that, please don't do it, because you may lose all the progress and you may not even be able to play the game again. What a waste of money that would be. With that being said, though, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you so much again for watching. I appreciate all your faces. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the clouds.